Well, it is coming up here on 11 o'clock on a Monday night. Now through 4 a.m. on Tuesday, we have a tornado watch in effect for western portions of Missouri. It doesn't include any of the 5 on your side area, but it does include places like Sedalia and Springfield and Kansas City. In fact, just saw some posts on Twitter or on X that they were sending some of the B-52s, or not the B-52s, the B-2s out of Sedalia, out of Whiteman Air Force Base, getting them out of there ahead of the weather. So our severe threat here locally, 2 a.m. until 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. All right, so you've got a pretty narrow window, 6 hours here. Any one spot, it's about an hour to 2 that we have to be concerned. The threat, a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust, maybe a brief spin-up tornado. And all of those threats are going to exit all of our area by 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Now, there might be a little redevelopment in the afternoon hours on Tuesday, but odds don't favor that being a big concern for us, maybe for areas farther east and southeast of St. Louis, based on what we're seeing right now. So still quiet around St. Louis. There have been a couple of little spritzes and showers down over southeast Missouri, but here is the line of storms. And really, it's a couple of lines. One coming across Iowa, slicing into Kansas, another that is now pushing into the Kansas City area and then slicing down towards Tulsa. These lines essentially will congeal into one very large complex of storms that will then trudge across Missouri into Illinois through the overnight hours into very early on Tuesday morning. Now, we are still in the 70s around St. Louis after being close to 80 for the high. And you know that it's still a bit on the humid side around the region. And now the low-level jet winds, the winds not too far off the ground, they're feeding into this system. And that's expected to continue to intensify that low-level jet across Arkansas and into Missouri through the overnight hours ahead of this line or with the line as it's advancing on to the east. So the ingredients seem to be coming together for this line to not only maintain its intensity, but keep trudging east and this kind of filling in and becoming a nuisance and a problem maker through the remainder of the night. So there's your tornado watch here, western portions of Missouri into northwestern portions of Arkansas, not for St. Louis. The severe thunderstorm warnings basically go from Kansas City all the way down to Tulsa, that entire line. So our storm alerts from 2 a.m. until 8 a.m. In any one spot, as you'll see when we time this out with Futurecast, it really isn't going to last, that threat, more than 90 minutes to 2 hours max. Okay, but leading up to it, it's right when that line of storms comes in, right along the line where we can anticipate seeing some of those strong gusty winds. And perhaps if you just look at this, and granted this is just one high resolution model, but we are getting close here to, crunch time where this is actually going to happen. So this is 3 o'clock, and you see that little nudge there towards Herman. That would be a prime case. If this is a simulated radar and the radar actually looked like that, that would be a prime case where you would have something spinning and potentially have a brief tornado spin up. Everywhere you see a little surge or a little kink in the line, that's an indication that we have not only some stronger winds, but also that potential in many cases to get something to spin. This line's coming through St. Louis between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning and into the Metro East between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. It'll come in with a big wind, and then you'll have a downpour, and then an hour, 90 minutes later, it's pushing out. Don't be surprised if your tornado warning sirens go off or your phone goes off, which you want to keep it on through the overnight hours. So if a tornado warning were to be issued for you, it would wake you up. Do you want to know about that? Now, anything that happens overnight with the tornado warnings, more likely than not, they're the quick little spin-ups. We don't see anything outside of that. And you could just go downstairs and away from the windows and doors and you'd be fine. You don't have to worry about running everybody to the basement, but you do want to get to a lower floor. So if your phone goes off in the middle of the night, that means, with those tones that sound like you're being abducted, aliens are coming for you, then you need to go down to a lower floor. It's designed to wake you up. That's that EAS. All right, with the WEA. Tomorrow afternoon, the cold front's actually coming through. So we heat up into the 80s ahead of that. As long as we don't get too crazy warm tomorrow afternoon, any showers and thunderstorms we see off to the south and east of St. Louis don't look like they're going to be problematic. Now, the next problem is going to roll in here on Wednesday. We are at a level 3 out of 5 risk for severe weather. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. This will get updated during the overnight hours. Gusts up to 60 miles per hour and higher. This has a bigger potential here on Wednesday to see large hail again. Of course, we know we've had the experience with that from last month, especially just west of St. Louis. And also the potential here on Wednesday that we'll have tornadoes with this kind of system. Okay, so the front's coming through. Really, the Wednesday system is going to depend on how things evolve during the morning. The warmer air is coming back to the north. If we have a morning complex of showers and thunderstorms that rolls in towards lunchtime, that may put the kibosh on just how intense thunderstorms can get later in the day. But the reality is we will have at least showers and thunderstorms in the area with downpours, with gusty winds, and that potential that we'd have severe weather. Now, that's going to take us into the afternoon. That's the first phase. The actual front doesn't come through until Wednesday evening. So as long as this first wave of showers and thunderstorms doesn't destabilize the atmosphere completely and we get no warming, then the second wave actually could be stronger. That's where we'd have our bigger concerns for the really large hail, maybe giant size hail. I mean, we may be talking about baseball size hail out of some of those storms if it all comes together, as well as the potential for tornadoes, heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and strong winds 60 to 70 miles per hour. By 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, that's all pushing out of here, and then our severe weather threat will be over, it looks like, for the rest of this week. So Wednesday, we're saying noon until 8 o'clock. That's going to be our time frame where we have better chances for thunderstorms, some of which could be more intense, particularly during the late afternoon, early evening hours. Of course, that puts it during rush hour in St. Louis, and that would not be a good thing. But we don't have any choice on the timing of it. It'll come when it comes. We'll see what happens Wednesday morning, because that will dictate what happens during the afternoon and kind of dictate how unstable we get. This is your available energy for those storms as we go into the afternoon hours on Wednesday. And see it peaking down here across southern portions of Missouri, southern portions of Illinois. But we still have high energy for those storms before they roll through on Wednesday. So here's your next 10 days, your 2 storm alert days, getting us through tomorrow morning. Then we'll settle down. Then tomorrow afternoon, anything that develops is going to be isolated, and most likely east and southeast of St. Louis. We're not anticipating that being a big problem. And then we're going to go into Wednesday. And Wednesday, from about lunchtime through roughly 8 o'clock, that's our storm alert time for Wednesday. And Wednesday has a potential for the storms to be more widespread and more intense than what we'll see in the wee hours here as we go overnight tonight. So just kind of as a reference. We'll keep you updated here from the Weather First Weather Center through the overnight hours. Keep tracking things. I would suspect somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock we will probably get some sort of watch from the Storm Prediction Center. But we'll let their midnight shift get in there and take a look at things and spin up their operations on the next shift. Of course, they've been under the gun too in Oklahoma. So always hard to do your job when you're worried about your family, because they're all in the threat area, the highest of the threat areas today. All right, well, you guys stay safe. Nothing's going to happen around St. Louis before 2 o'clock, but after 2 o'clock and more likely between 4 and 6 in the metro, that's our time to be weather aware.